Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing my spring faves and fails. It's a bit late, I'm sorry, I've been having some health issues and just like my day today is going not so well. Broken out in a rash on my neck that I've tried to cover, didn't cover very well. So I'm sorry. It's not a hickey, it's a reaction that I have to this certain cream. Very annoying. First up, I'd like to talk about something that was meant to be in my previous faves and fails, but I wanted to try in another shade. So that was the Milk Makeup Cream Bronzer. So that was this little one here. And the original shade was Baked, which I found it was kind of turning orangey after a bit. Like it would go on quite nice and I'd be like, oh yeah, the shade's okay. And then after a bit of time, I'd be like, oh, this is starting to look orangey. So I thought, okay, I'll try another shade. So I went to the shade Dazed. So this is Dazed, yeah, which was a little lighter, and I thought, okay, a little lighter might be less sort of orangey. We'll give it a try. Turns out neither shade worked for me, unfortunately. I'm kind of like in between these two shades. I think if there was a shade in between, it would be perfect. So there was, I think there's 5 shades all up here. And yeah, and then I thought, oh, I could mix them. They do not mix very well. But the main thing that put me off is the smell. Like the very first one I bought, Baked, I'm pretty sure in my video I said, it has that old makeup smell. Like I can remember trying my mum's makeup she'd had in her kit for like probably too long, it was expired, you know, but putting it on, no issue, not thinking anything of it. And it had that same smell. And these, both of them, when I got the new shade, I was like, no, it won't be the same thing, you know, new shade, it'll be, but no, they absolutely reek. I do not like the smell. However, the formula is nice, it blends out really well. Just the two things, the shade range and the smell. I don't know if it's just how it smells, but to me it smells wrong. So yeah, so I kind of gave up on that, but yeah. The other thing was the price. I mean, this was $47 when I originally filmed this video. It's now $50 for this tiny little thing that you get how many grams of product? I can't even remember, and it doesn't even say. But yeah, so yeah, unfortunately the Milk Makeup Cream Bronzers were a fail. Next up is the Mecca Max eyeshadow. This is the single eyeshadow in Serve. Yeah, this one here. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I think it was a limited edition. I do like the single eyeshadows, the formulas are nice, however this one is not. The fallout is very, very bad. However, I was using it as like a one and done, but just making sure I did my eyes first, and it seemed to be okay. In the original video, I kind of thought, oh, I didn't like the shiftiness of like when it was up close, it was giving, you know, showing all the wrinkles, all the bad stuff you don't want to be seeing really. But I figured out after a few uses, because I did get quite a few uses out of this, like I said, I was using it as a single one and done. I figured out that the less you put on, the better, which meant I was able to use it as a one and done, and it actually looked quite nice. But yeah, the biggest thing was the fallout, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I do highly recommend the other ones that are available in there. So this is the single eyeshadow for Mecca Max, and they're only, hang on, only $11. You can't go wrong really. Yeah, so I do highly recommend their other ones, the mattes. I've tried a couple of them, love both of them, but I am going to try some more. But yeah, definitely this one here is a fail, but it's a limited edition, like I say, so I'm not going to worry too much about that one. I also had a sample of the, let me see the full title, Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas Primer. Now I managed to get about 3 attempts out of that, and I must say I liked it. It was okay, it did its job, it blurred, it smoothed. I wouldn't say it wowed me. You know, it's meant to have skincare ingredients. I think that was the other thing it was meant to do. Yeah, anti-aging, protects skin from pollutants. Yeah. The biggest issue I have is the price. $97 for a primer is just ridiculous. So, yeah. I'm going to call it a fail, even though I liked it. I still don't think, even if I had the money, I still don't think I would go out and buy it. Yeah. So, unfortunately, it's a fail. Next up was the Mecca Max, what's the full title? Mecca Max Glaze Phase Lip Oil. So that was this little one here. As you can tell, I have used it quite a bit. Hang on, let me get the, there we go. Quite a bit. And this was in the shade, was it Watermelon Glaze? Yeah, Watermelon Glaze. Which pretty much is just a clear gloss. There's actually not much colour that comes through. So, this was $17, yeah. 4 shades at the moment. They may be coming out with more. Now, I did actually like this quite a lot. I managed to wear it just by itself sometimes. I had a lip liner that I sometimes wore it with, and it was fine. It didn't last very long. It is a lip oil, so it wears off, you know, pretty quickly within 2 to 3 hours. Less if you're eating and drinking, which is pretty standard. The only thing I didn't like, now I'm not going to be sure if this will show up on camera. We'll see how we go. No, it won't. Yeah, they're like sugar-sized lumps that form on the, around the lid. Well, I guess you call it around this piece. And inside the bottle. And occasionally, like if it's been a few days since I've used it last, they'll come out on the stick and put it on and you'll get those little gritty bits come out. However, if I'm using it quite regularly, say sort of every day, or I think I tried it 3 days in a row, it seemed to be okay. So I'm not really sure what this business is. See, it's fine. I've been using it. I used it yesterday and the day before. So there's no real clumps, just on the inside of the bottle at the moment, showing up. So that's the only thing. I mean, it's not, it's more annoying than it is, you know, an issue, because it was still nice. It was still nice and natural, you know, no other issue. I don't really know what to call this one, because to me, if it was a fave, I would reach for it a lot, which I was, because as you can tell, I've used a lot of product. But the downside is, when I did leave it a few days, you get the crumbly things. So I imagine if you're like me and have a lot of makeup, you know, a lot of different things you're trying on your lips, or a lot of different faves you like on your lips, then you wouldn't reach for it a lot and it would get that crusty kindness. So I guess in that respect you would call it a fail, wouldn't you? See, I'm on the fence with this one. I feel like I'd still like to try some other shades, see if this is, you know, if it's the same thing that happens, or if it's just the shade that occasionally happens too. So, okay, no, let's call it a fail. Like I say, if you're like me and you have lots of lip products and you wouldn't be reaching for it every day, then this is bound to happen and bound to annoy you. So yes, I would call it a fail, unfortunately. The last thing to talk about, of course, is the by Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. It's just a setting powder, this one here. It's a very cool lid. This, of course, was the travel size version of it. Now, this, couple of things about this. I do like it. There's just a couple of things that kind of bug me about it. One is the white cast. It does go on quite white, especially if you, like, you wouldn't want to bake with this, and this is a translucent, because it would be quite bad. However, it does fade. Like once your makeup settles down a bit, you know, give it an hour or so, it doesn't look so white. It seems to disappear. Or I have found if you put on a setting spray, that seems to get rid of the whiteness a bit too. Not a lot, but it does help. The other thing is, when I first tried this, I thought this is great under the eyes. I really liked it under the eyes, not so much on the face. However, I ended up being the other way around. I actually liked it on the face and not so much on the under the eyes. The reason being, under the eyes, it dries it out. Like, you want your under eyes to look healthy, not dry and, you know, showing texture and wrinkles and that kind of thing. Okay, this unfortunately did that under the eyes. Okay, so even trying it with different eye creams, you know, more creams that are more emollient, more, you know, moisturizing under the eyes. I thought, you know, I'll try a heavier eye cream, see if that helps. It didn't. No, same thing happened. So it may be different if you're younger, if you're a younger person, it may be totally different. Just for me, I'm nearly 50, I'm a few years away from it, but I'm close to 50, so I'm mature. Yeah, so under the eyes, not so much. On the face, however, it was really, really nice. I had a couple of instances where I had to do a naughty thing and wear my makeup overnight, so for the full day and then overnight. So actually my son ended up in hospital hours away from where we live, so I had to drive there and stay the night. And yeah, it didn't take much with me, just grabbed what I needed and went kind of thing. And I had this powder on, got up in the morning and my makeup was like, looked like I'd just put it on. It was so fresh and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And that happened a couple of times. Another time I ended up in hospital myself and had to wear it overnight in the hospital. Same situation, got up the next day, I was like, wow, my makeup still looks really good. It's random. But yeah, I put it down to this powder. So yeah, I ended up really loving it on the face once the white cast got, you know, went. Because yeah, when you first put it on, yeah, it was usually about an hour. So luckily, like I'm an early riser, so I get up early, I put my makeup on early, so it has that time to settle down before I'm seen in public. So, yeah, so I don't mind it, I can make it work kind of thing. So yeah, I ended up not really having an issue with it being the mini travel size. I think this was, where's the price for this one? 41. Actually, I think it's probably dearer now. Everything has gone up at Sephora by at least $2 or $3 in the last probably couple of months. It's getting a bit ridiculous. So roughly, yeah, 40 something with the mini, 102 for the full. See, I still don't know if I'd pay that for a full when I can get this to last a long time, because I'm not using a lot. So yeah, and plus I mix it up between my favorite, which is the Laura Mercier one, and this one, so I'm not using it every single time, so of course it's going to last me a long time. I have been using it to set my, I've been using concealer on my eyelids and using this to set, and it's been working great. So yeah, just not a fan of it under the eyes, but really, really like it on the face. So I'm calling this a fave because I would buy it again with no issue, because I know how to make it work for me. So yeah, so the by Terry, what was the full title? Hyaluronic Hydra Powder Setting Powder is a fave. That is everything in the spring Faves and Fails. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. That's always my thought when I get to the end. Did I remember everything? Even though I have a list in front of me, I still wonder, did I forget something? But no, I'm pretty sure I'm good. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one.